So what's up, everyone? How's it going today? This is Crypto Foxy. Thank you guys so much for stopping by the channel. So today we need to talk about something absolutely massive. I'm taking a look at SpaceX, right? There's a ton of information coming out today about SpaceX, and today we really need to talk about how this is going to look in a few years' time and how big of a deal this SpaceX stock could be the story of the decade. So, not just for tech stocks, not just for Elon Musk fans, but potentially this could be huge for the entire market. Now, because according to multiple reports, SpaceX could be heading towards a valuation between 1.75 and $2 trillion as it moves closer to a potential IPO. And we actually got some more information on that earlier today. The big question everyone's asking is how much could it actually be worth by 2030? That's really what we want to know. How big of a return could you make on an investment? Could this become the next $1 trillion monster stock? Or are we looking at one of the biggest bubbles ever created? Now let's break it down here a little bit. So before we get into it though, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and follow me on X as well if you're watching over there. So first off, this is not just a rocket company anymore. The mistake a lot of people are making when they hear about SpaceX is the rocket business is very, very important. But the real money machine is actually going to be the Starlink side of things. Starlink already has millions of users globally and is becoming one of the most important satellite internet networks on Earth. This is where things kind of get really interesting and intertwined here. Imagine a future where remote areas rely on Starlink internet. Airlines are all using it, which they've already started to incorporate that. Cruise ships using it, military operations using it, and autonomous vehicles connect through it. AI infrastructure depends on satellite connectivity. So that starts by turning SpaceX into something way bigger than just an aerospace company. It becomes communication giant and AI infrastructure company, as well as potentially even a defense and data empire scenario. So that's where investors are throwing around insane numbers. I apologize if you're hearing any banging in the background. My boyfriend's actually cracking lobsters for me because we're having some lobsters for supper. So I apologize. Let me know if you had a feed yet this year. This is my first one. I just went and bought a few lobsters. So, anyways, back to SpaceX. So, some bullish investors are even talking about seeing this hit potentially $10 trillion valuation over the next decade or two. Now, personally, I think 10 trillion sounds like very, very extreme, but I do think SpaceX could be double or triple from IPO valuations by 2030. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that is definitely possible, especially if three major things happen. Number one, Starship succeeds at scale. If we can see Starship become fully reusable and reliable, it's going to change basically everything. The launch costs will potentially drop and it could collapse basically, and that would massively increase satellite deployment and military contracts and all that good stuff that we talked about, as well as lunar missions and Mars programs, commercial space operations. Now, SpaceX already dominates the launch market share. Nobody does it like they do, right? NASA's not even close. SpaceX is just a monster when it comes to launching rockets. And as Starship works consistently like that, the league could become almost impossible for anybody else to catch up. Now, number two, we see AI integration becoming real, right? And this is the part that gets me really excited. You guys know I love AI, right? A lot of people don't realize Elon Musk is increasingly merging AI into the SpaceX ecosystem. And reports are mentioning that the integration of XAI technologies and massive AI infrastructure ambitions are also tied into the orbital computing and future data systems. Now, this is where we see things connect the AI to the AI boom that we're seeing right now. Everything AI is basically running. Everyone's chasing AI chips, infrastructure, data centers, and AI networking. But what really happens when compute power starts moving beyond traditional Earth-based infrastructure, we're going to see things change up drastically. It sounds crazy today, but so did reusable rockets 15 years ago, and look how far SpaceX has come in that regard. And this is why I think AI investors should pay attention to SpaceX, because SpaceX may eventually become one of the biggest AI infrastructure plays on the planet. Now, this is the other side of the argument, right? We also have to play devil's advocate here. Critics say the valuation makes absolutely no sense. And honestly, based on traditional financial metrics, they do have a bit of a point. Now, estimates suggest SpaceX will generate around $18 to $19 billion in revenue while targeting valuations near $2 trillion. That's an insanely aggressive multiple. Right. There are also concerns about transparency with IPO hype and whether real investors can get burned if expectations get too euphoric. And we've seen this before. Remember, we've seen the dot-com bubbles. I was actually reading more on the dot-com bubble earlier today, just doing some research and just getting some better ideas of what we could potentially see if that does happen with AI as well. And we've seen meme stock euphoria. We've seen euphoria on a few different things. Narratives can push valuations to crazy levels. And if you're in crypto, you've seen, the gaming infrastructure, the whole gaming side of crypto, boom. We've seen, the metaverse, how crazy valuations we saw in crypto, and then they just kind of disappeared. So investors do need to stay fairly realistic, and that's kind of how I always look at things. But here's the thing. The market often rewards companies that dominate entire future industries before the numbers fully catch up. We've seen this happen already to Tesla, Nvidia, Amazon, and SpaceX might be entering that category because investors aren't just buying rockets, right? They're buying future internet infrastructure and AI infrastructure and defense systems and all that good stuff that we talked about. And that's really the real bet right now. And here's my prediction. Okay, so if SpaceX IPOs around 1.75 to 2 trillion, I think volatility basically is guaranteed in that regard. There's probably going to be insane hype, massive swings, emotional trading, and likely sharp pullbacks. But in the long term, we could see execution continuing. I would not be shocked to see a SpaceX value between maybe $3 and $5 trillion by 2030. Right, we're going to see it. Everybody's going to be buying it when it first comes out. We could potentially see, like I said, that volatility maybe dropping down, people losing some of their funds, selling out before they think that I'm going to lose money on this. People just get excited and euphoric and what have you. And then, sometimes when their investment goes down, they just kind of get out and they're like, oh, this is a scam or what have you. Just the way some people's minds work. But, you know, if Starlink keeps scaling, Starship succeeds, AI infrastructure keeps expanding, and Musk keeps attracting capital and innovation talent. Whether you love Elon Musk or you hate him, it doesn't really matter. One thing is undeniable that he builds companies that reshape industries, and these are companies that go in and they find an issue and they basically upset everybody. They go in and they fix the issue and they do it to scale, right? They monopolize, they take over, and that's basically what I could see happening here with SpaceX. Now, this was actually pretty cool. Let me just share this with you guys. One second here. All right, so I just saw this today as well. SpaceX reportedly issues a 5-for-1 stock split as IPO timeline accelerates. So when are we looking at potentially the stock coming out and on NASDAQ? Around June 12th is potentially when we could see this. As early as June 11th, June 12th, that kind of area. And they're going to do a 5-for-1 stock split. So what does that mean? Well, that means that's going to bring the price of the IPO down from about 526 to about $105. So it's making it a little bit easier even for majority of shareholders to be able to purchase it, right? Dropping the price of the stock, you're going to actually attract a lot more people, and especially retail investors, right, who might not necessarily have 500 and some dollars to buy one share of a company with. So this is going to be very interesting to see what really happens here. The stock split will be processed this week, and it's expected to officially be completed by May 22nd. Now, news of the split comes as SpaceX is quickly headed towards the public markets. Now, Reuters reported SpaceX is planning to price its IPO as just soon, like I said, is June 11th and start trading hopefully June 12th. So I'm going to keep you guys updated, let you guys know what to expect, further coming closer to the launch date, because I think that this is going to be one of the biggest opportunities we've seen in a while. I'm actually putting some capital aside so that I can purchase day one. I just want to see where things are going to go. I'm going to make an initial purchase, then I'm going to reassess later on, obviously, and adjust accordingly depending on how the price goes, how the volatility goes, and that sort of thing. So, you guys stay locked in. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Let's kind of go on this journey together. It's going to be something very, very interesting in my opinion. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. I just want to thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.